What's going on, Blazer fans? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise podcast. Today, we're going to be rounding up all trade rumors that are out there. We're going to try and get you covered on every sort of buzz, every sort of smoke signal, so to say. We'll tell you where we think there's fire. We'll tell you what we think might not be real. But first off, we got to get into picks against the spread because it's 420, so we got to get into this quickly because some games have already started. Don't cheat, though, making your picks. Okay, this still works if you don't cheat. We've already made our picks, so anyway, we're going to go straight to the first game. Actually, I forgot to update the records, but I think I'm one game behind Eric now, so I'm feeling pretty good. We'll start off with Detroit going against Phoenix. This is in Detroit. I am doubling down on Phoenix. I don't think the spread's high enough. I think Phoenix is a better team. Detroit, I don't know. A lot of those players are going to be traded. I don't think they're going to put their hearts in it. But then again, a lot of Phoenix Suns could be traded too. So two teams that have a lot of guys on the trade block. I'm doubling down on Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm taking Phoenix as well in this game. Detroit, it's been up and down, but yeah, they mostly suck. But Phoenix sucks too, so it's a hard game to pick. I'm not as confident as you. And real quick, guys, like people's mix. So we start picks against the spread. So like asking questions right now during chat and then getting mad later when we don't answer them when we're doing something else. Like that's probably not the best time to ask.
We'll answer all your trade
questions.
Get to all
these.
Hold up, we got picks against the spread. We'll get through this pretty quickly though. Next game we got is Toronto against Indiana. Toronto's favored by 6. I'm rolling with Toronto. Indiana struggled. Oladipo struggled since he's come back. Miles Turner's been struggling. So I'm rolling with the Raptors in this game. The Raptors have been a pretty good pick so far this year. I'm going to keep rolling with them.
Yeah, I'm also going to pick the Raptors. This should be a good game, but Indiana hasn't been playing great lately, and Toronto has, so I'll take the Raptors.
Right. Next game we got Brooklyn playing in Brooklyn against the Golden State Warriors. I'm rolling with the Brooklyn Nets, just a better team. I don't think Kyrie's playing, but Golden State has some players on the trade block. Alec Burks isn't playing tonight. Glenn Robinson isn't playing tonight, so I'm rolling with the Nets.
I forgot who I took in this game. Okay, I took Golden State, just getting points on the road.
Alrighty.
But chat's overwhelmingly going with the Nets.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised about that. Boston going against Orlando. Boston's favored by 6.
This might.
Am I going too fast for you?
Yeah, but it's fine.
Work that hand. I don't know why you don't just type it into like Excel or something. But
Well, if I have Excel open, it's hard to read the chat.
Oh, that's why you got chat. That's why you got
have
chat
it all
on. Anyway, I just thought that would be easier, to be honest. But
no, it's way harder.
Boston is my pick for this game. They're favored by 6. Orlando's really struggled lately. They're really injured. The only team they seem to be able to beat in their last 12 games is Charlotte. So I'm rolling with Boston.
Yeah, I'm also going with Boston. They have a few guys out tonight as well, but I like the way their forwards are playing.
All right. Cleveland against OKC in OKC. OKC is favored by 13. I'm rolling with Cleveland because that spread's pretty high. 13-point spread. I mean, that's tough to cover for any team, even though OKC's been playing well. So
I'm going to take OKC, even though it's a big spread. Lil Bakel's saying my audio is unsynced. I noticed that on some of the podcasts the last couple times, but
I can mess with it.
I don't know.
Let's just get through picks against the spread, and I'll mess with it. Atlanta's going to Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 4. We got to get through these fast because we just got some trade news that broke. I'm rolling with Atlanta. Minnesota is without some guys that just traded Covington. That trade hasn't gotten through, though. They're without a lot of their bigs, so I'm rolling with Atlanta.
I'm going with Atlanta, and this is my double down pick. Minnesota doesn't have a point guard right now. I think Trae Young's going to have a huge game, and Minnesota doesn't have Covington as well, and they're also haven't been playing well. So yeah, I'll take Atlanta, even though they
Yeah,
aren't
kind of
great
crazy
either.
you're doubling down on Atlanta, but alrighty.
Yeah.
Dallas versus Memphis. Dallas is favored by 4.5. I'm taking Memphis. Who you got?
I'm also going to take Memphis. I keep betting against Dallas and it's killing me.
Betting
But
for Dallas has been working
yeah,
for me, so maybe you can't go wrong
yeah,
here. Or you can't go right. I don't know.
maybe.
Anyway, we got Utah going against Denver. Oh, let me fix this real quick. Oh, I didn't delete it. There we go. All right, there we go. Utah going against Denver. Utah's favored by 9 points here. I'm rolling with the Nuggets. It's just too big of a spread. The Nuggets have been playing well, even though they've been hurt. We saw that last night. They crushed the Portland Trail Blazers. So I'm rolling with the Nuggets here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough going to Utah on the second night of a back-to-back, but Utah hasn't been playing great, and Denver has. So I'm going to take the Nuggets in this
last
one.
Game, we got the Clippers going against the Miami Heat. This is in LA. The Clippers are favored by 6.5 points, but I'm rolling with the Heat. Picking for the Heat has worked out well for me, and they're just a solid team. They haven't been as good on the road, but I'm still going to roll with the Heat.
I'm going to take the Clippers. They're undefeated when all their players are healthy, which they're all supposed to play tonight. Even though they didn't win by enough last game to cover the spread in that situation, they still won. And Miami's been bad on the road this year, so I like the Clippers in this situation.
Now let's head straight back to the main screen because we got trade news, okay? So Shams reports that Miami and Memphis are in advanced discussions for Andre Iguodala to land with the Miami Heat. So Miami is making a play for Andre Iguodala. I assume they're giving up like Justice Winslow in this deal. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm waiting for a follow-up tweet.
Well, they're right up against the hard tax, so they can't
it would have
really
to
take on a lot of stuff.
I mean, maybe it's something like James Johnson and Justice Winslow for Solomon Hill and Andre Iguodala. I think that.
But why would Memphis want Johnson's salary next year?
I'm not sure. That's the thing is Miami doesn't really have picks, so I'm trying to think about what type of assets Memphis is going to get back. We'll see. Hopefully he breaks something here soon. I didn't update the banner. I just realized that. Let me do that real quick.
RIP Blazers. If you have a legit rumor, let us know. Thank you for letting us know that it is a rumor, but if this is legit and you're not just messing around, go ahead and let us know, please.
So the way I'm doing this with our trade deadline stream tomorrow with everything, okay? If it's a rumor, say rumor and then your rumor, all right? If it's a suggestion or something, don't say rumor, and that's if it doesn't say rumor, we're just going to think you're just coming up with an idea on your own, okay? So just claim everything that's an actual rumor with rumor. If it's like somebody reports something is going down or somebody reports something, yeah,
say their name.
Woj.
Like Woj
and if
says,
you troll, I'm not gonna be lenient on this. Please don't troll chat with fake stuff. If you do that more, like you'll get a 300-second ban if you keep doing that, because I want everything in chat to be legit. Just don't troll around with the trade deadline. You guys can troll me for the rest of the year after the trade deadline, but don't troll with the trade deadline.
So NBA trade on Twitter is your source, so just some random person suggested this trade, or it's an actual trade source on Twitter? People's mix. We both hate Aaron Gordon, so no, we don't want Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot threes well, and he doesn't defend well. Aaron Gordon's overrated to me. I'm not a fan of guys who aren't that efficient, can't shoot threes well, and don't defend well. So Aaron Gordon, Andrew Wiggins, guys like that.
If that was their last choice before the deadline, would you take Gordon?
Last choice? No. Because he's on a 3-year contract, right? He's overpaid.
Yeah. We're also going to a first
Yeah,
or
they're not
something
just
in
going to
that
take
trade scenario too.
Whiteside,
And
so
I
that's
don't.
the problem. He's
Yeah,
not worth the compensation, not even close.
got 48 too. Would that change your mind?
Maybe he's an expiring contract next year, but
If he opts in, it's like 17 million or
yeah.
something.
Sorry if I'm covering up Eric's webcam a little bit. I'm going to change the thumbnail to the Andre Iguodala trade. That's what I'll do throughout this this trade deadline stuff, this podcast, the next trade deadline stream. We might stream tonight if something else goes down after this podcast, and then we'll stream tomorrow morning. So we're gonna the title's gonna change with whatever is the latest trade. So I gotta make thumbnails and that type of stuff. I need to get another. That's why I need to get another monitor so I don't cover you up though. Because that's the problem is I have to have Eric's camera on the screen. That's the one problem with this. But god dang, I keep covering you up. So what do you think of Iguodala's fit with the Heat? I think that's kind of a weird fit. To be honest. Yeah. Why can't you? I didn't mute. Audio.
Did yeah you do this every time you.
I think okay. I gotta change the hotkey. That's what it is. That is what it is. I think I accidentally set a hotkey to mute it on you. So I think whenever I press a certain button when I type, it mutes you. I have to check that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so go on. What you were saying, because now you're not muted.
Okay, so Miami is. I can see why Miami wants Iggy. I just don't understand how they're going to get to them because they don't have really a lot of assets. Unless Memphis really wants Winslow that bad, or they're throwing in a young player, I doubt they would trade any of their young guys in that deal. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I was surprised to see that. I was surprised to see Miami, just because their assets don't really match up to me.
This was rumored a few days ago, so yeah, it's kind of you got me though, because you said you had breaking news, but that's not news. It's more rumor.
No, how many times do you see Shams or somebody like that?
They've already tweeted. They tweeted one of those Woj or Shams tweeted this exact thing like 3 days ago.
Advanced discussions.
They said that Miami was the front runner. Yeah, that's different
than whenever they say advanced talks, that basically means it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Rarely do I see them say their teams are in advanced talks and then it doesn't happen.
Well, the 4-team trade that happened last night, that had been in serious discussion several times. And it ended up happening, but...
Well, yeah. And I said it's gonna happen. Because every time. I don't know. Every time. Am I wrong, chat? Am I right?
I would say breaking news is an actual trade that happens, and rumors are more okay, they're in advanced discussions. Though.
When Shams tweets out,
okay, well, it doesn't have to be rumored. Just say update or latest news or something. I don't know. Breaking news to me means there was an actual trade. I was getting excited. I think
this is an actual trade. I think this is actually happened.
If
it happens, then
okay, yeah.
Then I'll say I told you. It's a.
I'm not saying it won't happen.
I don't. That's the thing. If I read advanced discussions, I just take it to mean it's gonna happen. But. I mean, maybe that's not the right way. I mean, we'll see what happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna have this thumbnail ready. So you want to catch up on rumors?
Sure. So Hamza mentioned the Alec Burks thing earlier. So Alec Burks was, I guess he received a phone call before the game, and they had Warriors staff go up to him and give him hugs and stuff. And Glenn Robinson III was also held out of the game tonight. Apparently, they have some trades in place for both of those guys. They're just trying to decide which one they want to take. The rumors are that they're looking for a second-round pick, and since they're both minimum contracts, they can trade them without taking on salary back. So they're also trying to get under the luxury tax this year to avoid, because the repeater tax for them would start next year, which would be really bad for them. So they're trying to get picks to attach to Looney to dump his salary as well. And then they could also be trying to get roster spots to trade D'Angelo Russell for 2 or 3 players as well. And then so people are saying, should we go after one of them? And I think that would have made a lot more sense earlier in the season. Both of those guys are on minimum contracts with no bird rights, which means this summer we'd have to use the mid-level exception to sign them for anything other than a minimum contract. So it'll be the same situation as with like Curry and Hood and all those guys this summer. So yeah, we could probably re-sign either of those guys for, $4 or $5 million, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but that would pretty much take up a huge chunk of our mid-level exception. And then, so do you want this summer to be Alec Burks, our only free agent signing, and then not be able to do anything else, especially if we don't trade Whiteside, because then we're basically stuck keeping Whiteside and signing Alec Burks and then not being able to upgrade at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, because we could go out this summer and probably find an Alec Burks level player for the mid-level exception. So why trade for one now? You know what I mean? Especially when we're looking at Nate, so you give up assets just, to...
And then on top of that, we undo some of the savings we had from the Ariza trade. So we add tax back to Jody Allen's pocket, which I know that doesn't affect fans, but if she made that trade to save money, she's not going to add salary just to add back money back. And then on top of that, we give up a second-round pick, which could actually, I know it's like a lottery ticket. We talked about this with picks last night, how they can sometimes be overvalued based on the unknown of it. But you still have a slight percentage chance that you get a great player with a second-round pick versus a known commodity of Alec Burks who might not even sign next year. So, and then does it really change whether you get the 8th seed that much if you have Alec Burks this year? Yeah, his scoring would help, especially in a game like last night, but overall it doesn't really help us that much, I don't think.
Yeah, he's just not a good player. He's a volume scorer that's not super efficient, that doesn't defend, and he's having a good year for he's having a good year for Golden State, but that's just a bad team. He's putting up big stats on a bad team, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of his game, and he's having probably the best year of his career, but how much of that is him playing for a bad team? You know what I mean? How much does he really help winning? I'm not entirely sure. So, I don't know. It's like a risk, and then I don't know, maybe we could give up a second for him, but I assume they have better offers than that, since they're basically deciding between different offers right now, it seems like. So,
he's a decent player. When healthy, that's one of his other problems is he's been hurt a lot in his career, so he hasn't gotten consistent enough minutes because of the injury situation. But he can score. He's a terrible defender, though. But yeah, it was rumored a couple days ago that Golden State was interested in adding him, and they have that Golden State's pick back to give to them, which would be 31 right now. So, that we can't beat that in a trade, and I wouldn't beat that in a trade because that'd be dumb. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to make little moves like that unless it's for a player that we can trade like Hazonia or Swanigan for and not add salary to the roster when it doesn't really help us long term.
Yeah, makes sense. We'll get into Uprise. I apologize to anybody I troll with this thumbnail if this doesn't happen. But I'm going to put it out there. And if it happens, then there we go. Then I don't have to worry about it. So there we go.
Did you put a thumbnail on the Iguodala?
Yeah, but I said Andre Iguodala being traded to the Miami Heat with a question mark. So, gotta read the title.
All right.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I assume it's gonna happen. If not, I'll just change the thumbnail. Nobody will ever know except for you guys. But just
Mellow Stay says Detroit Pistons are open to discussing trade options for any player on their roster. One of the main problems with the Pistons is that a lot of their contracts, other than, of course, Drummond and Blake Griffin, are smaller contracts that are too big for us to get to with like a couple of the smaller contracts we have, but not big enough to add together to add up to Whiteside, considering they're only a few $1,000s away from being hard capped, and they don't want to be hard capped, so they're not going to take on salary in any trade. So like, yeah, it would be possible to do like a Whiteside and picks, and then like get a third team involved to take one of the three between Rose, Snell, and Langston Galloway type thing, and then but that adds a couple million to their thing and makes them hard cap. So they're not going to want, or not hard cap, but have to pay tax this year instead of get a payout at the end of the year. And a team that's that bad does not want to pay tax on top of that. So, yeah, it doesn't really. Unfortunately, they have a lot of players on their roster that I would like, but it's really hard to make a trade work with them. Unless it's one of those like 4-team trades that we were discussing last night with crazy amount of players involved, which is probably unlikely.
The first trade of the trade deadline, unless you count Ariza, but the first trade this week was a 4-team 12-player trade. So
12-player,
not completely out of the question.
It's possible.
Yeah, not the likeliest scenario. But Target is available that I didn't think would become available. Kelly Oubre. And I'm a fan of possibly going out and getting him as well as Aaron Baines. Because you said, I'm assuming you're right on this because you know your stuff and you check this type of stuff. But so Kelly Oubre and Aaron Baines for Hassan Whiteside works financially.
No.
You said
no. I said that there has to be they'd have to throw in a minimum contract with that,
like Hazonia.
No, we can't. Well, it doesn't work. For some reason, it didn't work financially. We'd have to do like a separate. We'd have to trade them Hazonia separately. Wow. But it doesn't work when you combine them for some reason. Because like the minimum contract is just a weird thing.
Okay.
Because it doesn't add up to enough money. Because when you combine them in the trade, it's like aggregated. So like if you do a trade machine, it'll say it doesn't work.
So I thought that you trade a minimum contract, it just doesn't. They don't have to match it regardless because it's a minimum contract.
I think that's only if you trade them like individually. If you trade them as part of a deal, it counts as them together.
Maybe.
But like I said, we could just trade Hazonia to them separately. But anyways, forget Hazonia. Just
if we could
like
trade Hazonia to them separately, then I don't know why we wouldn't be able to include him in the trade. You know what I mean? Since anyway.
Yeah. But just forget it. Okay, so like, just pretend that's not an option. So Hazonia, it does not work with just Baines and Oubre, so you have to add. They have LeCue making like 800,000 something.
Yeah, he's been going off in the G League apparently. Just from what I've heard, I think maybe Akobo would be more gettable, and I'd be a fan of him.
I'm not saying that they would trade any of these guys. I'm saying they have to include one of their minimum guys, like a Diallo or something. And we're not going to get someone who has value for this. So, and then I avoided Javon Carter and Okubo because they were both rumored to be in that Luke Kennard trade. And the problem is, I don't think Phoenix wants draft picks or young players or anything like that. They're trying to win now for some reason. And so the only thing I can think of is that they don't want to give up a first this year and not have a first in this draft or a lottery pick if they don't make the playoffs. So the only hope I have is that they want a second first round pick to use in the Kennard trade, so they still have a good first round pick. And if that happened, then I doubt most of the teams between us and them would give up a first for Oubre. So we possibly could get in the mix that way by including our first round pick and having being better than, if like Milwaukee or Miami, or not that they can offer their first round pick, but like any team behind us in the standings.
But
so
here, I just wanted to go in on why I like the idea of like Oubre, Baines, and whoever they throw in.
But I was just saying, before we get to that, we have to preface it by saying that it doesn't really make sense for Phoenix. So
unless
that's
we
the
threw
problem.
in a first round pick. If we threw in a first round pick, I think it makes sense. They could possibly flip Whiteside elsewhere as an expiring contract. It could possibly turn into a 3-team trade depending on who they're out there trying to get. They're rumored to be going after Luke Kennard with one of their picks. So maybe they go after, I don't know. Maybe they need. I don't know. I mean, like if they're looking to trade Oubre, they're not going to get back some great player for him. I don't think.
You don't know, like, just because they're looking to trade him doesn't mean they're going to trade him for the best offer or whatever. They could just be testing the market to see what they can get for him. And if Whiteside and a first round pick is the best they can get, they might say it's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, but we're just talking hypotheticals. I just wanted to say why I like the hypothetical idea of this.
Well, you said hypothetically that they would for sure do it if it was a first round pick.
I said I think they would if they're looking to get off Oubre and Baines. I think they'd be happy with like the 15th overall pick for them. I think that's good value for both those guys.
But see, everything James Jones, their GM, said during the offseason and last season was a thing with their owner, that they were sick of getting draft picks. They want players to help them make the playoffs. So,
they can
that trade.
So never mind. I won't talk about it.
Okay. But from the Blazers' point of view, go ahead.
I mean, it was just that template that I was talking about. So,
yeah.
The reason why, like some combination of Oubre, Baines, and Okobo would be good for Portland for Whiteside. First off, Baines can replace Whiteside at center. He can space the floor. He can defend the rim, right? Oubre is a forward on a 2-year contract, making about $15.5 million. Has some good games. He's just kind of inconsistent, but when he's on, he's a really solid player. We've seen that. He's kind of killed Portland this year. Oubre is on a 2-year contract, so he's like a $15.5–16 million expiring next season, so that would help us at the trade deadline next year, and he's a guy that teams might want or might value, especially if we build up his value, so he could be helpful in going out and he could be helpful in going out there and trying to make an upgrade next season or even this summer, but also say it's like Oubre, Baines in a minimum level contract. We can absorb Baines with the Bazemore traded player exception, and that would help us create a bigger traded player exception, which would be about $11.5 million. Since Baines fits into Bazemore, we don't have to account for his salary, and then the minimum contract fits under, the layman TPE or, number of different exceptions. I think we have one from Swanigan. It says on Trade Machine. I'm not sure if that's even a thing, but basically, he fits under. So basically, we'd create a trade player exception, the difference between Whiteside and Oubre's contract. So not only would we have a $15 million expiring this summer and next year, we'd also have a $11.5 million traded player exception. We'd have the backup center to replace Whiteside. We'd have a decent forward that's young and could take the next step if he comes here to Portland. So that's why I like that type of trade for Portland. Okay, regardless of like if Phoenix would do it or not, I like that type of trade. I'm not gonna sit here and say, I guess I shouldn't say, I think Phoenix would do it, because I have seen. I think you're coming from the standpoint of you've been looking at Twitter all day and you've seen people saying, "Oh, O'Shea, you better go out and get Kelly Oubre. You better make sure you land Kelly Oubre." As if like O'Shea can just snap his fingers and decide to land Kelly Oubre for a good package, which we don't know, So the rumor is that Kelly Oubre is being shopped, but as you said, it might just be for the best deal.
And several people have brought up that the Detroit Phoenix trade is at an impasse, but that's why I brought up the value of our first round pick being added to that. Maybe the impasse was that the protection Phoenix wanted to protect their pick, like lottery protected or something, and maybe we do that pick only like top 10 protected or something, and then it would almost guarantee to be going there except for like a 5% chance of it moving up or something. So and then Phoenix could possibly lower their protection on it if they on their pick or something if they knew they were already getting a first round pick a few picks later. So yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. It doesn't matter who brought it up first. Like
What?
It's just funny. They're arguing over who said it was at an impasse first.
Bro, it's not a race, man. We're just trying to cover everything here. Do I like how
Tori's gonna owe me an apology when the Miami Memphis trade hits an impasse.
Like 90%. Okay, at least 90% of the time it happens when they say. Like you gotta look at the wording. I think when they say like advanced discussions or deep talks, like I don't know. Usually there's some sort of adjective or descriptive word that tells you like, okay, this is probably happening. Like this is basically happening. And usually it's something like deep talks or advanced discussion or like something like that. You know what I mean? I feel like they don't add that word unless it's basically like gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's just from my experience following trade rumors. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've missed out on a couple situations where that wasn't the case. We'll see. Maybe I'll get screwed over, but I'll just delete the thumbnail and change the title, and we'll be good. We'll be good. I just wanted to be first on it.
I just want from now on, if there's breaking news, like to be excited that an actual trade happened. That's all I was saying.
I got your ass.
Chiefin wants to know if you think. I think I know the answer to this, but answer for Chiefin is Hood better or Oubre better?
Or Hood this year I think was better. Hood last year, but Hood this year, Oubre isn't like a great defender, and Hood's just more efficient. He's just was a much more efficient player this year. But Oubre wouldn't be a bad guy to have. He's young. He has some potential that he hasn't yet fulfilled. So,
well, they were both traded for basically second-round picks.
Yeah, so I mean,
year.
if we got Oubre, I'd like that just because he has the chance to like develop into the type of forward we need, and then if not, he's in expiring contract next year, and then we could still go out and get what we need. So would just provide some upside.
Yeah, you might have. It'd be really close depending on who we brought in. I think we'd have to use a second-round pick to dump Swanigan or Hazonia after that trade. And then we'd be under the luxury tax, possibly have a young small forward of the future type, and get a temporary, really decent center to fill in for Whiteside until we get guys healthy. I think that's like the ultimate best-case scenario for a trade tomorrow.
I'd give up a lottery protected first for that.
Yeah, I mean, I might even go as low as 8, maybe, protection just to make that happen. Because that would accomplish all our goals with one trade, other than if you think Whiteside is our power forward of the future, like he seems to think. But yeah.
Yep.
Do you think Whiteside's our power forward of the future?
I've been speaking on this all season, guy. Oh, God, man. I mean, I know we have new people to the channel, people that haven't watched this all season, people that might have missed it. But I've said numerous times, Whiteside and Nurkic cannot play together, so it's not an option, man. It's not.
But that's why I'm trying not to get too excited about the possibility because it's too good to be true.
If we don't trade Whiteside, I'm going to be pissed at O'Shea, man. Oh, we got to keep Whiteside. Look at how this team's playing over the last 6 games. Look at how good this team looks. And I was just sitting there like, what do you mean? Look how good Dame looks. That's the only thing that looks that good right now. I mean, like, Whiteside looks good, but that's because Dame's looking. That's because Dame's drawing so much attention on pick and rolls. He's dumping it to Whiteside. Whiteside's getting the easiest buckets of his life right now. The defense has still been bad with Ariza. Ariza and Whiteside, right? We have the guy leading the league in blocks, and we had an upgrade to a good defender at the small forward position, and we're still giving up like 120 points per game with that lineup. That's why we need 3-and-D guys. That's why we need 2 defensive forwards. I don't think we can get by with 1 defensive forward. I think we need 2 defensive forwards and a rim protector. I think Nurkic is a better defender than Whiteside. Whiteside puts up, he has the more flashy plays and puts up better numbers, but Nurkic is better defender at center. We need 2 defensive forwards. We need to set ourselves up to get 2 defensive forwards. And that's why I'm not fans of like Wiggins and Aaron Gordon and Kevin Love and guys like that.
Mm-hmm. So, Trevin, instead of just saying, did we see someone's tweet, why don't you just say, did you see that this person tweeted this? And then we don't have to ask you what they tweeted or what, because he tweets a lot. So how are we supposed to know what tweet you're talking about? Mm-hmm. Or if it's happened while we've been on the air, or what, like just let us know what it is. It's a lot
tomorrow I will have my laptop open while I'm going through this, but I don't have it right now. And tonight if stuff starts popping off.
Yeah. Josh Christensen asks, you can take this. If no one's offering anything for him, why give up Whiteside for the remainder of the season? Real question.
So if we don't give up Whiteside, right? Hopefully I'm getting better and better at explaining this. If we don't give up Whiteside this season, he's a free agent. There's 3 different options. 1, he leaves for nothing. 3 different realistic options. Because I'm not going to count sign and trades because those are so hard to predict, and you shouldn't count on sign and trades. Yeah. But the 3 options: 1, he leaves. We don't get anything for him. 2, he resigns a 1-year contract and has a no-trade clause. Or 3, he resigns on a multi-year contract, doesn't have a no-trade clause, but we'd probably have to overpay him a bit, and then he's an overpaid backup center on a multi-year contract, and a team's not going to want to trade for that. So he leaves, has a no-trade clause, or has a contract that no team wants to take on. So either way, this is the last time that Hassan Whiteside is going to be a trade asset for us until like maybe 2022 if he's an expiring like a couple years from now. You know what I mean? Like Hassan Whiteside will not be a trade asset for us next season. He will not factor into us trying to make a win now trade next season for those reasons, right? So
so Hamza's saying he leaves, we sign a good player this offseason. Him leaving does not give us any difference in cap space than if he stays. We have the full mid-level exception if he leaves, or if he stays, or if we have other contracts, and we have about the same amount in salary cap.
We'd also have to cut Ariza, though. We'd have to cut Ariza and let Whiteside walk in order to get like $10 million of cap space, or we can keep Ariza and keep Whiteside, I guess, and have a $10 million mid-level exception. You don't get both of those, so either way we have $10 million to spend regardless of what we do with Whiteside and Ariza. So it makes no sense to let Whiteside walk just for the reasoning of cap space. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, if we keep Whiteside past the deadline, I mean, I guess I want us to resign him just because, like, we won't lose anything from re-signing him. And if he walks, we don't get anything for him. So,
so just because someone goes off the books, the salary cap this year is like $109 million, and we're over $140 million in salary. So taking $27 million off of that doesn't get us below the $115 million that the salary cap's supposed to be next year. We're still above that line, or below it slightly, but it's not like we're right at $115 million and losing Whiteside gives us that full $27 million below the line. We're way over it, because in the NBA it's not a hard cap, so you can go over it as much as you want. There are situations where you can get hard cap, but that number is well into the tax, which is way above the salary cap line to have cap space to sign free agents. So it's not as simple as just losing someone like that. And then Chris Stevens says it's probably closer to $14 million, but that doesn't include now almost $2 million if you cut Ariza, and then it doesn't include our first round pick and stuff like that. So it's right around $10 million, whether you have salary cap or you have the mid-level exception. So unless we trade CJ, basically, which isn't happening. People's mix, so stop talking about it. Um, but yeah, unless we trade CJ, there's really no realistic way to get cap space enough to make that big of a difference in the Dame and CJ extended era.
Yeah. Yep. So.
And this is why Tori and I have been so gung-ho about trading Whiteside, despite how good he's been, even if it's for a super bad one-year player contract next season that's not going to help this team at all. I still think like Nick Batum is still better than having Whiteside in a situation where we can't even make a trade this summer or make the team better this summer.
I'd explain it this way. Having a 2-year, $25 million a year contract right now would be better than having a 1-year, $25 million a year contract. Because the reason we wanted expiring contracts this year was to what? To make a win-now trade this year, because that's what teams would want in return for a star player. But there's not really anything out there that is a big upgrade. So next year there will be better opportunities. More opportunities. We'll be in more of a position to make a win-now trade. Okay, so if we wanted expiring contracts this year so that we can make a win-now trade, what should we want next year to make a win-now trade? Expiring contracts. A 2-year contract this year is an expiring contract next year. The problem is, as I've said, Whiteside is not going to be a trade asset for us next year because either he leaves if we keep him past this deadline. Either he's going to leave in free agency, he's going to be on a 1-year contract, and that institutes a no trade clause, or he's going to be on a multi-year contract, probably overpaid. Nobody's going to want that. So outside of Hassan Whiteside, our only contracts over $6 million a year next year are projected to be Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, and Trevor Ariza if we keep him. And then maybe you factor in a mid-level exception player for like $9 million, but I'm not counting that guy as a trade option either because we'd likely have to overpay to land somebody, and that would probably have to be on a...
And we can't trade him until December 15th
and that'd probably be on a multi-year contract and a little bit overpaid. So it'd be the same thing as Whiteside, where he's not really like a contract that teams want back.
And if he's not that, you're basically saying you have to include that guy in a trade. But what happens if we sign someone who has like a hood-like effect on the team and we want to keep him? We don't want to include him in the trade. We want to add to our core instead of having to include our core in the trade. So it would either be you sign someone good and he has some trade value, but he also has value because he's helping your team, or you made a bad signing with your mid-level exception and you're already trying to get rid of him, and then he wouldn't really have much value, like you said, if he had multiple years.
Yeah, basically all results in this, right? So at the trade deadline next year, if you want to make an upgrade for like a legit player that would really help the team, they're probably going to be making, $25 to $30 million? So Portland would have to trade out $20 to $24 million. How are they going to make up that figure with contracts people want? Like Whiteside, either no trade clause or he's overpaid on a multi-year contract. That team's not going to want him back. The mid-level exception guy, I'm going to assume we're going to have to overpay someone, and then that's going to be on a multi-year contract. Teams aren't going to want them. So you got Ariza, and then what? Ariza makes $13 million. So where are you going to get the other $7 to $11 million from? You'd have to throw in Hood. You'd have to throw in, and then like smaller it'd be very hard to match that contract. So it'd be and the thing is, I wouldn't want to throw in Ariza and Hood. I'd rather just have like a $20 million expiring contract for a player we're not like super high on, that we can just have match salary and be an expiring contract, so teams are willing to take that back because teams want expiring contracts at the trade deadline for their good players. So basically, if we don't trade Whiteside, we're left in a position next year where we probably end up struggling to match salary for a legitimate upgrade. So I don't really care about keeping Whiteside this year because we're looking at the 8th seed and we're looking at probably losing in the first round. And I don't think trading Whiteside means we're giving up on the 8th seed or giving up on the season. We have depth at that position after the All-Star break. Nurkic should be back. Scal should be back. So
especially if we pulled off the Phoenix trade and we get a quality wing to add for the playoffs. We get a decent center. We get guys healthy. Like we'd be.
But the original question was like, what if we can't get anything back? I mean, we could still go out there and find like a serviceable backup center, like a Willie Hernan Gomez or somebody. Maybe somebody gets bought out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just, why are we chasing the 8th seed and probably losing the first round and putting ourselves at a disadvantage next year to make a legit win now trade that could help us contend?
And Hans is saying, well, you're basically telling Dame you're wasting a year of his prime. No. But our whole point all along, I know, but like, this is your choice. Keep Whiteside, go for the 8th seed this year, make a run this year, trade Whiteside for the things that we keep mentioning, and have a chance to add to Dame's prime, the core, in the future without giving that up. If you don't do that, if you keep Whiteside and go for a run this year, you're basically saying you have to win it all this year, or it's going to be very difficult to compete in the next 2 to 3 years of Dame's prime. So I don't understand why. So like basically you're saying you'd rather trade making a run at the 8th seed and trying to upset the Lakers and then making a championship run this year over a situation where we could possibly get a Karl Anthony Towns or someone else like that next year when he becomes available, instead of not being able to get that guy. And also, I wasn't even
looking at this from an off-season perspective. During the off-season, we're not going to be able to trade the guy on the mid-level exception. We're not going to be able to trade Whiteside most likely, even if we keep, if we keep him, he can't be traded for a while. So literally, the only guy we have to trade is Ariza. Literally the only guy. And then the next closest guy is like Collins, but at that point you're getting into like prospects, and who knows if we'd even want to do that trade, giving up on Collins and stuff. But that's still only like 18 million, so it's still not even, that still only matches like $22.5 million. So that's the problem. Like this offseason, we're not going to have the ability to match salary if if a Karl Anthony Towns becomes available and they like our prospects. It's going to be hard for us to add them all up to match Karl Anthony Towns' salary. Like, I just don't want to be at a disadvantage for a win-now trade in the future just so we can make a run at the 8th seed, which I think we'll get regardless if we trade Whiteside or not. I think we'll, I don't know, like 20 minutes, 22 minutes as a backup center of Whiteside isn't a huge deal to me. I think people are kind of overrating the impact he'd have on this team with Nurkic back, with Collins back, with Skal back, and that's who we're going to have in the playoffs, right? So we're going to have a healthy Nurkic who knows how much, knock on wood, but he is on pace to be healthy in the playoffs. He's on pace to return this month. You're looking at 3 good bigs. You got Melo there too. So we already have the depth in the front court. People are like, oh, if you trade Whiteside, you're giving up on this year and you're telling Dame you don't want to contend. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think it actually make that big of a difference at all. Where it would make a difference trading Whiteside is to help us, if we got back the right pieces, trade a player exception to your contract, it would help us make a win-out trade this offseason or next year. So that's why I want to do it.
And just to clarify something, both Tori and I have defended Whiteside as not being lazy, as not being the problem with this team all season. Like, we're not saying that he's the problem or he's been bad or anything like that. It has nothing to do with how he's played this year. He's actually played about as good as we could have hoped for when we made that trade, I think. So this has nothing to do with him being bad or thinking that his stats are empty or he doesn't contribute to a winning team or anything like that. It's just his contract. Yep. It's a business, and the salary cap is tricky. You have to maneuver around it and do things. And so, don't get it confused that we don't like Whiteside and want him gone because of his playing.
Yeah, I've said all year that it's not based on. It's not based on how he plays. We've been consistent with that. When he's played bad, we've said that. When he's played good, we've said that. It literally does not matter how he plays in regards to how we value him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change this to rumor alert, actually, because I'm smart.
And then, so RAP Blazers keeps mentioning this one trade that NBA Planet on Twitter had. So he says the Knicks would get Whiteside, Simmons, I'm assuming that's Simons, not Simmons, Hazonia, 2021st and 2022 second are those from the Blazers. And then Pacers get Bullock, a 2021 second, Blazers get McDermott, Bobby Portis, Mitchell Robinson, and Elfrid Payton.
So this is some random guy's trade suggestion. That's not rumor. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, if we have to give up Simons and a 2021st in that trade, no. But the Knicks are not trading Mitchell Robinson. They're not willing to trade him for D'Angelo Russell, so they're not going to trade him for Whiteside. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. That's what you got. That's what rumors can tell you too about like hypothetical trades like that. Like,
yeah,
just pay attention to the rumors and have some common sense. You know, if they're not willing to give up Mitchell Robinson for D'Angelo Russell, then yeah, why would they give him up for Hassan Whiteside? D'Angelo Russell would mean much more to the OK or to the New York Knicks than Hassan Whiteside would. Far, far more valuable to the Knicks would D'Angelo Russell be. And if they're not willing to do that, then why? It just doesn't make sense, you know?
First P is saying, do you think the Wolves will get D'Angelo? I think they're out of D'Angelo now. The rumor I'm hearing today is they really want Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know why. But I guess they really need a point guard. They have none. They have a two-way point guard. That's their only point guard. And now they have Evan Turner, I guess, play some point.
I wonder how much.
Alan Crabb's running the point tonight with
hilarious. Wiggins. Wiggins can actually, honestly, he can handle the ball well enough, and he's like improved his playmaking this year. So I don't see him getting like struggling too much. I don't know. It's against the Hawks, like whatever. DM doesn't really matter for them.
No, the truth. Well, first of all, he asked if you know who that is, Tori. But the truth, I don't know. But it said trade CJ and Whiteside for Mitchell from Utah. Mitchell's on a rookie contract, so there's no way to make those salaries work, and neither team would do that. So,
yeah, why would the Jazz trade Mitchell? I don't understand.
Yeah. So you can add Gallo. Apparently, they're trying to get.
I'm actually working on adding Gallo, and I'm making this a rumor alert, so nobody can get mad at me.
No, I would not. Why would we give up a first for that RIP Blazers?
What was it for?
He's saying Whiteside, Hazonia, 2021st, 2022 second for Bullock, or Pacers get Bullock and a 2021 second. He doesn't label whose picks these are, so it's really hard to understand.
Yeah, I had somebody do that in the mail by somebody else. You guys got to let me know what picks they are.
The Blazers get McDermott, Portis, and Payton. So here's the deal. What we've been talking about this whole time about picking up contracts for next year, it doesn't help if we have to give up a first round pick to get that contract. Like those aren't the time. I'd rather have Batum and get a second round pick or a pick swap or a young player along with Batum than have to give up a first to get like basically the same level of expiring contracts that don't really help the team that much. And then like we gave up picks to do that too. And then we also gave up a 2022 pick in that draft, which is potentially the double draft.
Yeah, I'm not giving up a pick unless we possibly get the answer to small forward. So like an Oubre could be the answer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Oubre trade, I understand because we get under the tax and we pick up a center and get a small forward that could possibly be our future small forward. That makes sense to give up a pick in that situation. But it doesn't make sense to give up a pick for McDermott, Bobby Portis, and Elfrid Payton. And Portis has one of those non-guaranteed contracts next year, so you could waive him in the offseason, or it might even be a team option with Portis. I have to look that up. But so like we'd have to make that decision before the offseason anyway, so it could be an expiring contract. And this is why I don't want guys like Gallinari and Marcus Morris, players like that, is that they're free agents in the offseason. Yeah, we'd have their bird rights so we could sign them, but like I don't think they're big enough difference makers to put us into contention. But at the same time, like we'd have to give up assets to get those guys, and then they could leave in this offseason for nothing. And then we're stuck. Not only did we trade Whiteside and a pick that we lost, but we also don't have. It would be better to just let Whiteside walk in that situation rather than give up a pick.
Yeah.
Trevin says, "Why am I so out of sync today?"
Are you? I don't understand why you'd be out of sync. Because I hear your audio, and basically the audio that I hear gets played directly onto the stream, and you're synced up on my screen, so I don't know why you'd be out of sync. I mean, maybe I can mess around with that. That's just weird.
McDermott is... RIP Blazer says McDermott could be the small forward answer. No. You cannot play a... I mean, he'd be a decent player to have. I'd like to have a shooter like that off the bench. But with Dame and CJ, you cannot have a small forward that plays no defense. Like that would be a disaster.
3-and-D players, guys. I've said it all along.
Yep. And then, so this is the Bruce Davis was asking earlier. Sorry, I was trying to get to this, but about interest level in Aldridge, and this is the problem with Aldridge as well. You have to give up a first to get him, and I don't think he's good enough to change the course that much. I don't like him as a 4. So at this point of his career, I think he's better as a 5. He doesn't like playing the 5. He's not going to like being a backup. But he's probably still good enough to have to start. And then our perimeter defense is even worse than it is right now.
And Aldridge is only going to get worse too.
I don't mind after next season if he wants to sign here for a lower amount to end his career back in Portland. But yeah, I don't see the reason why we trade them, and I don't know if they would even want Whiteside in a first for Aldridge. So So. Prime Scottie Pippen is the answer. Yeah, that would be great, but that's not.
No, that's totally realistic. What do you mean?
Hamza says Paul George is the small forward answer. Sure. Yeah, Paul George would be great.
Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, somebody like that.
But there's an example of a player who, let's say that Indiana situation happened this summer, right? And we had the exact contract situation with keeping Whiteside. And then Toby asked why we're both so condescending. We're not trying to be. Sorry.
I'm not being condescending. I don't think you're being condescending either. We're explaining trade stuff to the best of our ability. You know.
Yeah.
But who said that?
I mean, sorry if our honesty is condescending. Yeah. We don't like to sugarcoat things or make things like we just say how we feel. We don't. All opinions are welcome. That doesn't mean we have to agree with them. But yeah. Anyways,
if that was a regular saying something, then I'd be like a little bit more. But then I'd also feel like they're trolling.
What were we talking about?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm finishing this thumbnail.
Okay.
I am 15 seconds away from being done. I wonder how in the world would Miami get both those guys?
Well, they have a lot of contracts that they'd have to have another year on them, but yeah, I don't know why OKC or Memphis would want those guys.
I mean, I guess Justice Winslow has value. I mean, maybe they'd throw in. I think they'd throw in Tyler Hero, probably, to maybe OKC. There, like if they traded Tyler Hero, James Johnson, Dion Waiters for, I don't know, but that's too much salary. Maybe Myers, Dion, and Tyler Hero for Gallinari, then James Johnson, or not James Johnson, then Justice Winslow. I don't know. The thing is, they're close to hard tip cap, so it's hard to figure that out. But I assume they'd be trading Tyler Hero. They'd have to trade Tyler Hero for Gallinari, I think, if they want to get Iguodala as well.
Yeah. And I don't see them doing that. That'd be weird.
I mean, if they're really trying to win it all right now, they'd be a better team, More shooting. They love the shooting around Jimmy Butler. If you could get Gallinari shooting at the power forward spot, Olynyk is the center, or Myers. Obviously you have Bam as the center, but off the bench you'd have like Olynyk or Myers. I think they'd probably rather keep Olynyk because he can play either forward spot. Outside,
although he's playing like less than 20 minutes a game this year.
I don't know why. He's shooting like 39% from three right now, I believe. So that's the thing. Outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, you'd have so many shooters. Gallinari, like so many 40%-ish shooters. Gallinari, Olynyk's close to that. Duncan Robinson. Who else am I missing? Myers, if they keep him.
Is not, yeah.
Kendrick Nunn, I think is close. Is he? Or has his efficiency fallen off? I don't remember. But you just have a lot of shooters around those guys.
Yeah. So I remember what I was going to say. So let's say the summer where Indiana traded Paul George happened, and they called us and were like, and we were in the exact situation this summer. We kept Whiteside. We had basically Dame, CJ, Ariza, and Nurk as our only contracts available to even match salary, right? So they call us and we're like, hey, we see you have the 15th pick. We really like that. We also want Simons, Collins, and Little. And but how can we make this work? And then we're like, well, we could include Nurk, and then we could do this and that, and like it would just be really hard to match salary in a trade. So like, I know you were joking about the let's get Paul George at small forward, and that's not going to be a realistic option this summer. But like, if the next Paul George becomes available, and we don't have the right contracts to trade for that person, because when Paul George originally became available, we had to offer guys like Aminu and Harkless and Evan Turner and people like that who had multiple years left on their contract and weren't good. They weren't expiring contracts. So like it was really hard to get them to accept the 3 first-round picks, even though they might have been interested in that. They didn't want to take on long-term salary on top of that. And that's just ignoring the whole Pritchard situation. Who knows about that? But
I muted my mic. I'm muting an Oreo. If you want to keep going.
Okay. So Toby Ryan says the only way we can turn into contenders is we have to trade CJ eventually. For us, we kind of always look at it from the perspective of keeping Dame and CJ, just because I don't think as long as this organization is intact that they will consider trading CJ. Who knows if that's 100% correct, but ever since they gave CJ an extension this summer, it pretty much cemented him having to be...
Breaking news. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off, but Memphis is finalizing sending Andre Iguodala to Miami. I told you, bro. I told you when they use that type of... Man, you trying to say, oh, if you're all, you owe me an apology. Nah, there's your breaking news. That's legitimate. Okay, I played by your rules, played by your guidelines. That's breaking news. Andre Iguodala...
It's still finalizing.
Andre Iguodala is going to finalizing. That's...
It'll be interesting to see what they're giving up.
Yeah, I just changed the trade alert. Let me go back and change it back, honestly.
So as soon as anyone finds out what they're getting, let us know.
I'm curious to see what they're getting. Watch them give up Tyler Hero for Andre Iguodala.
Who was that? Woj or Shams?
Let's see if people start pouring into the stream. I want to see if the stream starts popping off a little bit. All right, so there we go. I'm curious to see what Memphis got back in this deal. Adrian Wojnarowski. All right, so you want to give me crap about Sham saying he's finalizing it. Here you go, Adrian Wojnarowski. Memphis has agreed to a deal to send Andre Iguodala to Miami. League sources tell ESPN. Iguodala agreed to trade and has agreed to a 2-year, $30 million extension with Miami.
Whoa.
Bro, Miami is dumb. Why would you extend him for 2 more years for $15 million a year, bro? He's 36? So is that 2 years past this year? I assume it has to be, right? 2 years past this year?
I think because there's some weird rules now where you can sign or trade and extend players. So I think it has to be 2 years. I don't know if the second year can be like an option maybe. So maybe it's just for this year and next year. But that's crazy. 2 years, $30 million. They're paying $15 million a year for the 2 more years on top of him making $16 million this year for not playing over half the year.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. So
and then they wonder why they get stuck with contracts like Dion Waiters.
When they signed Dion Waiters to that contract, it was like, that's going to be a bad contract. We all knew it, you know? Like, I don't understand teams that sign these extensions. So, I mean, Iguodala's what, 35 or is he 36? Let me look it up.
I think it's 36. Oh, yeah.
No, I don't want Iguodala.
36.
I want Iguodala's age, not Iggy's age.
He just turned 36 at the end of January.
So you're telling me
he'll be 38 towards the end of that contract.
Yeah. He's going to be making $15 million, and he's going to be like when he's 38, he's going to be washed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if he'll be an NBA caliber.
I mean, he was already showing signs of being washed.
So Miami's kind of silly for that. Maybe that's what they needed to do to get him to play. But he's also not a great fit with what they do. Because they like to just completely spread the floor out for Jimmy Butler and let him create. Completely spread the floor out for Bam Adebayo, and he's turned into a very solid passer. They like to just have a ton of spacing and work off that. Iguodala doesn't help that.
But People's Mix brings up a good point. So they were positioned to have a ton of cap space, not this summer, but next summer in that huge free agent class. So there you go. There's a team next year. If we have expiring contracts and they are not doing well and they have this huge anchor contract for Andre Iguodala weighing him down, and they're looking to get out of it and giving up an asset to get out of it. But yeah, it's like stuff like that's going to happen this summer where teams are going to sign players to contracts because there's not that many free agents, so people are going to overpay for free agents, and there's going to be situations where teams are going to look to get out of those contracts rather quickly. But yeah, I still want to see what's.
I wonder if Myers is gonna get traded in this. Well, so I'm gonna try and guess the package.
All right.
I'm guessing the package is Justice Winslow, and Myers Leonard for Andre Iguodala, and one of Tyus Jones or Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, I was thinking Kyle Anderson. I just read something that they're actually pretty high on Tyus Jones and that they're really happy with how he's been this year. So I'd be surprised if they included
Memphis,
him. But
if you could get back Justice Winslow, who hasn't looked good this year and is kind of but you can also get out from Kyle Anderson's contract, then that's a win. That's a win there, you know.
But Winslow is not a great fit next to Morant, because he can't shoot.
But Winslow's an expiring though, right?
No, he still has 2 more
Does he?
years after this
Maybe
one.
they'd flip Winslow elsewhere.
Yeah. I think the second year is a team option, so he'd be at expiring next year, I guess, if you didn't want to pick up his option. Um, Olynyk has a player option for next year for a little over $13 million. James Johnson has a player option for next year, which he'll take for over $16 million. Dragic isn't expiring. That's possible,
I
maybe.
doubt them. I doubt seeing them trade. I doubt they traded Dragic for Iguodala though, because they don't have a ton of depth at point guard. They have some wing depth.
Right.
So, what's your guess as to this package?
Well, I wanted to look up exactly. So the hard cap line is 138.9, and they're at 136.6. So they have just a little over 2 million to play with before their hard cap. But you have to also figure in if you're trading out like 2-for-1, you have to sign someone, so you can't go over enough to not be able to sign
Henry M
someone.
says, what's the final trade? We're still waiting on those details. We're trying to guess. We're speculating right now as to what those the final trade might be.
It's weird that they know that he signed an extension to make the trade happen, but not what's being traded back.
Yeah.
So my guess, based on that, would be, I wish I knew how many roster spots they had. Maybe has Akpala played at all this year?
No.
Did he get hurt?
Is
he playing? He's just not playing. Maybe they're using him as a trade chip or something. Maybe one of those teams was high on him in the draft. What exactly does Iggy make? Like right around 16?
17 million. Can't believe they signed him to that contract extension though.
17,185. Yeah. So yeah, that wouldn't work. It basically have to be. I don't think getting Gallinari and Iguodala makes them a championship contender any more than they were before those trades.
They had just great chemistry, great fit of great the skill sets of their players meshed. Gallinari I think would fit in better than Iguodala. Iguodala's kind of a weird fit, but defensively, I mean, if you can put out Jimmy Butler at the 2 and Iguodala at the 3, that's. I mean, the thing is, they're not going up against. If they were in the West, it would make more sense because you could put them up against LeBron and. You could put either of them up against LeBron, and then you can put both of them up against PG and Kawhi, which would be the best combination of forwards to defend PG and Kawhi in the league. I mean, maybe they're thinking, oh, let's go win an NBA Finals, so that's why they're trading for them. And like, if they make it there, they probably face one of those teams. But
yeah, I'm still trying to make this work in my head. So maybe.
I gotta go take care of something. So, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'll just disable my webcam.
Maybe they're getting Jay Crowder and Iguodala, and then it's like Myers and Justice Winslow or something.
Yeah, that could make some sense. I was thinking Solomon Hill not Solomon Hill. I was thinking Kyle Anderson since Memphis would be able to get out from underneath that contract, so that'd be their incentive.
Every matchup I do like that, it's like a million too much to go over the hard cap, so it's really hard to.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Hopefully we get the news on what the trade is. So, all right.
Yeah. All right, I'll be reading your guys' question through chat. Shannon Smith, we still don't know. We keep refreshing, trying to find who Miami traded out, and that's who we're trying to figure out. Dan Dickow, a.k.a. Jimbo, says, tell these dudes that Wiggins for CJ is a dumb idea. That would be the worst possible trade we could make. We would completely ruin any chance of winning a title with Dame if we made that trade. Wiggins is terrible. He's averaging 22 points a game on almost 19 shots a game. completely inefficient. He's worse than CJ. He's not even a good defender despite how athletic he is. And he averages about the same assists as CJ, so you don't get any like additional playmaking or anything like that. So whether you think CJ is trash or not, the truth, it doesn't matter because Wiggins is just as much trash, if not way more trashier than CJ. And playing off the ball with Dame, and he's a 32% three-point shooter, doesn't help either. And no, I don't know who you are, nor, I mean, it's kind of dumb when someone goes under a different name and then tries to ask, oh, guess who I am? Hey, Leo, what's up, man? I haven't seen you around much lately. Rosanelle, I don't know what you're asking, if it's official. But so Eric Bouchard says, to be fair, he averages more points on less shots than CJ. I'm going to look that up. He does probably get to the free throw line more than CJ because just off the top of my head, CJ doesn't get there very much. But yeah, I mean, I understand trading CJ if that's what you guys think is best for this team. But trading him for a guy like Wiggins, it doesn't do anything to change our situation. If you're going to trade CJ, like, you have to come up with a situation where we either improve our cap outlook so we can make a better move, which Wiggins doesn't, or I don't know, you just have to do something. So team option for second season. Okay. Jakey go crazy. Is that Jake Carey or someone else? You'd be going crazy if they traded Hero. Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill. Look at my last message. Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill. Yeah, you have to get more value than that. Otherwise, there's no point in trading CJ. And yeah, like, you're basically downgrading CJ. We're all haters because you don't like CJ, and we say that CJ is better than Wiggins. I'm going to refresh Shams and Woj and see if they have more details. Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill are late scratches on the Grizzlies' deadline eve. Doesn't necessarily mean they're involved in that particular trade. They could be involved in other trades. But yeah. So team option for the second season, that makes it a little better, but they're still paying $15 million to Iguodala next year, which isn't great. It technically means they're probably involved in a trade, yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're involved in this trade. The deadline's tomorrow, they could be making more than one trade. But if it's Iguodala, Crowder, and Solomon Hill, that's let's see how much salary that is. 24, 25. That's like almost $38 million in salary that they're trading out. And so you're probably talking like James Johnson, Justice Winslow, and Myers Leonard, plus some sort of asset. So it'd have to be, they don't have really many picks to trade. So it'd have to be like a Tyler Hero or someone like that, yeah. So it would basically have to be James Johnson, Justice Winslow, Myers Leonard, and Hero. Maybe Waiters instead of Leonard, and then you justify giving up Hero because they're taking on Waiters' contract. I don't like any of these scenarios at all. Yeah, I don't think Beal can be traded this year because he signed a extension in the off season. So I think he's like CJ, but he signed it later than CJ. So CJ just became available to trade a few days ago, but I believe Beal is not eligible the whole season, or the date was after the deadline, so he wouldn't be eligible till this summer. I would probably trade CJ for Beal, but I don't see any reason why Washington would do that. If Jake, if you're asking me if I was Miami, who would I trade for Iguodala? Because the I've already said I don't like Iguodala's fit on the Heat, so I wouldn't trade anyone for him, unless they wanted like I'd probably do like Justice Winslow and minimum salary because he's not really playing that much for him. And Iguodala fits better than Justice Winslow. So if it was like Justice Winslow and like maybe Derek Jones and KZ Okpala, I'd maybe do that if I was Miami. But the fact that Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill are both involved, it's much bigger trade than that. So
I'm not. Are you sure Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder are involved in that trade, or could it be a different deal?
No, I just
I wasn't here, so I don't know. I'm just trying to jump back in here.
Yeah. So yeah, I just said they got late scratch, so I don't know.
I saw that.
Woj retweeted that thing, so I'm assuming it's part of this trade, but yeah, I don't know.
Because I actually came up with a new possibility of what it might be. What about Justice Winslow, Duncan Robinson for Iguodala?
Well, if it's okay,
because I could see them doing that, and then I don't know. I wouldn't do that if I was Miami. I definitely wouldn't do that, but I feel like that would make the most sense. I don't know.
But then you're talking about. I don't think that's enough. I don't think they can do that because it's like 2.7 million difference, and that would put them over the hard cap.
If they have something else lined up, though, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not going to guess anymore.
Yeah, dude, this needs the information needs to come in.
But the second year for Iguodala's extension is a team
Keith
op.
Smith is reporting that the Heat and Grizzlies trade could turn into a 3-team deal with OKC because Miami wants Danilo Gallinari and Memphis could send expiring contracts to OKC. So Miami doesn't have picks to trade. So maybe what else could they trade other than Tyler Hero? That'd be enough to land Gallinari, you know?
Maybe Melo and Hill, or not Melo, Crowder and Hill are going to OKC because they match Gallinari's contract pretty close.
Gallinari and Iggy to Miami, and then Miami.
But I don't know who OKC would get to make that worth it.
Well, you just said OKC would get Crowder and Hill, but they would need like an asset too.
No. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they would get those.
I assume it'd have to be Tyler Hero. There's no way they get both these guys without trading Tyler Hero. I don't see how it's possible because they can't trade any first round picks. You're getting Iguodala and Gallinari. I mean, maybe, or Kendrick Nunn. Maybe one of these teams wants Kendrick Nunn. There's no way they do this without trading Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Hero. But I assume like maybe Tyler Hero to OKC in that trade, which I think would be a good trade for OKC. Hero and Gilgeous-Alexander would be a good fit together in that backcourt. Move like it for the future. You still have Chris Paul there, but that just says okay. Hey man, that says OKC might be willing to blow it up right now, which means the 7th seed might be a little bit more in play than we thought, which means a matchup against a team we have a much better chance of beating if it's not one of the LA teams. So that's interesting for the Blazers. I'd assume it'd have to be Tyler Hero to OKC and like. I'm gonna hop in the trade machine here. Let's see. Let's put up Miami. Let's put up.
Just to warn you, I don't think the ESPN one factors in the hard cap.
Yeah, I'll factor it in myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it over your face. Sorry, but just so that people can see what I'm working with here. It's just the easiest way to do it. All right. So if we had okay, not Memphis. All right. So you send Iguodala. Oh, he's already on. How is he already on the Heat? Bro, I can't even show this. The NBA trade machine already put Iguodala on the Heat. Okay, never mind. I mean, I guess we can just factor in. So like,
I think Dragic is going to be in this deal.
Might have to be.
Gallo has left the OKC bench.
Yeah, Gallo's okay. So Gallo's getting traded to Miami.
Yeah, and so anyone that's new here, welcome. Thanks for checking this out. We're gonna have a trade. We're gonna go here as long as there's rumors and trades happening. And then tomorrow we'll have a live stream for the trade deadline. It'll be a lot of fun.
We'll go live like 3 to 4 hours before the trade deadline tomorrow.
Yeah. If you want a notification for when we go live, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button. But yeah, we'd love to have you guys check that out. Thanks for watching this. But yeah, it's so weird. How is there so much information or like details, but they can't figure out exactly what's going on?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to make it work under the hard cap for Miami. 33, 36. I'm doing the math in my head, which is always scary. I mean,
man, this is gonna mess with our picks against the spread too.
I know. Actually, we shouldn't have even done it today. So the hard cap is like $6.5 million over the tax line, right? Correct.
I got. They're at 136,587 in salary, and their hard cap is 138,928. So roughly, just do 2.2 to be safe.
God, dude, Miami's gonna probably be trading like 4 players here. Cause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, if they're getting Iguodala and Gallinari, that's 36. Or no.
So I think.
How much does Gallo make this year? Like 21, 22?
According to NBA Trade Machine.
So that's like almost 40 million. Winslow is in the deal per Woj.
God, that's a lot of salary.
Is that on TV? Justice Winslow is part of the package heading to Memphis.
That's okay. So I have something that works for all 3 teams that I think all 3 teams might do. Let me pull it up here. Dragic, Winslow, Leonard. This is just like my speculation. This is like just a random guess. There's going to be a lot of players involved, so I'm probably not going to get this right. But Dragic, Winslow, and Leonard to Memphis. Maybe a second round pick too. Solomon Hill, Jay Crowder, and Tyler Hero to OKC. And Miami gets Gallinari, Kyle Anderson, and Andre Iguodala. They'd only take back $1.8 million in salary, so they'd stay under the hard cap. Memphis basically sends out Iguodala in this trade, and Hill and Crowder and Anderson, and they get back Winslow, Dragic, Leonard. So they'd get out from Kyle Anderson's contract. Just pretend Iguodala's here because Iguodala's already on the Heat, so just pretend Iguodala's here. So they'd get Justice Winslow, and they'd get out from Kyle Anderson's contract. Maybe Miami's trading a couple future seconds. I don't know how many they have in the future. I think they have a 2022 second and a 2025 second. In 2026, I think that's the only seconds they have. So Miami might be trading seconds here. So Justice Winslow, they get out from Kyle Anderson's contract. They trade Crowder and Hill's expiring contracts for Dragic and Leonard's expiring contracts. Maybe they flip Dragic elsewhere tomorrow or something, or I don't know. OKC gets Tyler Hero and expiring contracts for Danilo Gallinari.
I love that trade for OKC.
Great trade for the future. Like, it might hurt them a little bit this year, but for the future, I think that'd be a great trade. You know, who knows if Gallinari stays this year? You get a guy who's been playing well, was the 13th pick, looking like good value at that pick, very young, fits well with Gilgeous-Alexander in the backcourt. The problem is,
because they need wings and shooters.
The problem is Miami cannot trade a first-round pick, as far as I know, unless, I don't know, maybe – I don't think they can because they have first-round picks traded and they have it, like, protected through 2026, which is the last year you can trade a first-round pick. So I think they're going to have to trade Tyler Hero in this deal or, like, another young prospect. So, I think this trade makes sense for all teams. Does this make sense to you, like, as a possible?
Yeah, it does. I just don't.
Hey, if I nailed it,
I don't know if that's enough.
If I nailed it, I'm a god.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you knew some of the players involved.
I knew one. I didn't know Justice Winslow was involved before I started putting this together. So I knew Gallinari and Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala. But there's a lot of other pieces here. You know what I mean? So that would be I'd be impressed with. Just let me have this if this happens. You know, just give me some props.
Alvaro says confirmed Hero is out. So like if you make comments like that, just make sure that's actually true. Please don't say anything like that if it's not, because like I don't want to like believe you and then have you be trolling or whatever. Okay, yeah, don't kid around about that.
Did he joke about Hero being out?
He said JK.
Alvaro, I told you don't troll on trade deadline, man.
Yeah. For anyone new, we love you guys interacting in chat, but at least for today and tomorrow, let's not talk about like fakes. Don't put any fake things because then it messes everyone up and it's hard to know what's real and what's not.
And I like to be able to trust chat here so you guys can help me out cover this. But Arcade's game says Hero's untouchable. We'll see about that. I don't see how they get this done without trading Hero. Tori just got traded to the OKC fan base. No, thank you. Hell no. I demand to be waived or traded elsewhere. I'm not even kidding, actually. OKC fans all over my Twitter talking trash and trolling me and all that. So anyway, Hero and OKC, yeah, that'd be interesting, man. The Kentucky Brotherhood, you got Gilgeous-Alexander, you got Hero, you got Noel, you got
what was just tweeted again. With a team option for 2021-2022, Iguodala is allowing the Heat to keep salary cap flexibility for that offseason.
Which the extension makes sense. It's basically going to be a 1-year extension.
Yeah. I guess it might be a non-guaranteed so they can keep him through free agency and then let him go if not. If they sign someone, they can let him go. If they don't, they can just keep him another year. But yeah, it seems kind of weird. But like, why are you tweeting about that and not who's like actually being traded? So this is an example to me of making a trade and kind of ruining what you're building.
Yeah. Because
I don't like this for Miami at all. they don't really have to give up a lot, but like Hero had fit in really well.
And I mean,
like,
we don't know
guys,
he's being traded, but I
like,
assume he has to be, you know.
Yeah. But like Bam and Jimmy Butler and Hero and stuff, those guys have all like, I've seen interviews with them and they're joking around and they're having fun and all that stuff. So like, I hope they're not making a huge mistake. I mean, I guess I don't really care what they do, but yeah, like they seem to have a good team.
Yeah.
And Kendrick Nunn doesn't make a lot of sense for either team because OKC has like 3-point guards and Memphis has John Morant and
Heat
Tyus
fans
Jones
saying
and
that they're
stuff
not
like
going
that.
to
I mean,
trade Hero. You guys owe me you guys owe the subscription to me. You guys gotta subscribe if they trade Hero. All right. You don't have to subscribe if they don't trade Hero, but if they trade Hero, you gotta subscribe because I don't see how they get this done without trading Hero. For people wondering about the Streamlabs with the check mark, that's like Streamlabs account, but it's like Streamlabs is a software I use, so it thanks people for subscribing and donating. I think I don't know. I'm still kind of new to it.
Yeah, every time someone's been subscribing in the chat, it says
it thanks them.
Something.
So.
Yeah.
Miami's losing in the long run if they trade Tyler Hero. I don't think they're really concerned about the long run since they're making this trade. They just traded for a 36-year-old, so they just don't have. So Heat fans saying they're not trading Hero. How are you going to get both of them without trading a first-round pick? Like, let's be realistic here. Like the Thunder aren't just going to trade Gallinari for James Johnson and Dion Waiters. Like, why would OKC do that? Why would they trade Gallinari for James Johnson and Dion Waiters? You know, you guys got a lot of bad contracts. You probably got to trade at least one of them out. And that's going to be negative value for the team taking them back. You have no first-round picks to trade, and you're getting back Gallinari and Justice Winslow. God, I keep mixing up names. You're getting back Gallinari and Andre Iguodala without giving up a first. You got to give up your young prospect or two.
Both of those trades, you probably think you need a first to get at worst a early second, and they don't really have. I don't even think they have a lot of seconds. I think they have 1 second-round pick they can give up. I'm going to look up the exact stuff for their picks. I know they cannot trade a pick this year because they owe their 2021 pick unprotected, which is now partially protected for LA Clippers and I think it might be like number 1 or number 1 through 3 protected. But it doesn't matter for the Heat's perspective because it's unprotected that they're sending out. And that was part of the Dragic trade. And that pick has been traded like 5 times now.
All the Blazer fans freaking out about when you get Gallinari.
Yeah. So, okay. They have a 2022 second, the less favorable between Philadelphia and Denver. Is their only credit. Other than that, they have traded every one of their second-round picks through 2026, so they cannot trade a second-round pick other than that one more favorable of Philly or Denver in 2022, which I guess if that's the double draft, even that pick will probably be in the 50s. It'll be somewhat okay because it's the 2022 draft. But for first-round picks, they have traded their 2023 first-round pick. It's lottery protected to Oklahoma City. I think that was the pick they gave to Miami for taking on Harkless in the Whiteside trade.
Maybe as part of this trade, they're removing all protections on that pick. Maybe that could be something they're doing. And then, because that's protected through 2026, correct?
It is unprotected in 2026.
So that's why they couldn't trade a pick
they could not trade another pick.
But they could get creative here and remove the protections. Since OKC already has Miami's 2023 first-round pick, they could remove the protections as incentive for OKC to possibly do this deal. And then, Miami, who knows if they're a lottery team by then. And
then give a 2025 protected pick to Memphis in this deal. And then keep Hero. Is that enough for... is losing the protection enough for OKC to do it. That's interesting.
You'd probably have to
That's a good
toss in
thought,
a
though.
couple second round picks. I mean, that's a lottery ticket, you know. That's the only way they could get this deal done without including Hero, in my opinion. I mean, maybe there's something else that I'm not seeing. Maybe they include Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn. You know, that could also be a possibility, but instead of Hero, you know. But they'll either have to get creative with like doing something like that, removing protections from their 2023 pick and then trading like a 2025 pick. Because that's the thing, removing the protections from the 2023 pick would allow them to trade a 2025 pick, if that makes sense.
Yep. And they've, as proven with the 2021 pick that they owe, they're not afraid to make picks unprotected. It's kind of stupid nowadays, but with the new lottery situation, but that could make it more valuable for OKC. You're right. That's a good idea. When I was reading that off, I didn't even
when
think
you said
of that.
they owe their 2023 first round pick to OKC, it's like, okay, they could be completely mortgaging their future. But I mean, if they can keep Tyler Hero, he's risky in the future, but I don't know, man. That's interesting.
Woj said Pat Riley is going for it this year.
I mean, Iguodala is a weird fit and kind of washed, and Gallinari's a good pickup, but he's not. I don't know. I don't think that gives them a chance against Milwaukee.
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing we've been talking about all year with the Blazers acquiring those guys. It doesn't necessarily make them a contender this year, and they're both free agents after this year. Well, now Iggy isn't, but he's also 36.
So quick plug here. Leave a like on this video. Helps us out. And as Eric said earlier, subscribe. We're dropping a trade deadline stream tomorrow. So if you want to keep up to date with the trades around the NBA, with people that truly know the salary cap, truly know the CBA, are well-versed in that type of stuff, we're your guys. So also you can follow us on Twitter. Our Twitters are up there. I'm Tori Jones. That's Eric Brandt. All right. He's at HoopsJock. There we go. He's at HoopsJock. I'm at Tori Jones YT. Our channel's at Blazers Uprise. I'm trying to point in the right spots, do all this, whatever. But yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted. We'll keep you guys posted on everything. I'm just waiting to see this stuff come through, man. This is taking forever, bro. I didn't even plan on this podcast going like this long. You know what I mean? I wanted to get out of the house for a little bit, but this stuff broke, so I'm just waiting to see what happens with this. Come on, man. Where's the Woj? Where's the Shams?
Apparently he was on ESPN talking a little bit ago. I don't know if
we need like an insider in Miami or OKC. We need insiders, bro. We need to be like the YouTube Woj, and you can be the YouTube Shams.
At least there's not a Blazer game tonight, so I don't have to worry about.
Honestly, if there's a Blazer game right now, I'd put it up on my laptop and I watch it while I'm streaming this trade deadline, and I'd like react to that, but also react to the trade stuff.
That'd be fun. Hey, Detroit's beating Phoenix.
Why? How, man? Phoenix better come back from that. There's a bunch of people.
So they're down 3 with 5 minutes.
We do a picks like against the spread segment, so I picked Phoenix. I doubled down on them. That's why we're talking about that. It's just, dude, this is just a lull right now, right, guys? Like, imagine being like a Heat fan or a Thunder fan or a Grizzlies fan, like knowing this is going down, but just sitting here like, who's being traded, you know? I guess I can update.
Usually it's just you're waiting on to find out like what the protections are on a pick or something, but all the players involved.
All right, here we go. Did a trade alert. Now I can make it back into a trade alert. Let me make this thumbnail, update it.
Hey, RIP Blazers, you keep posting to that trade. We've already talked about a similar trade. It's not going to happen. And we can't trade picks in back-to-back years anyway, so that doesn't make sense. It's not. It doesn't even work under the CBA. So complex sports is dumb if they keep doing that. So tell them their trade doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, come on, guys. We keep you guys, like, I don't know. Those of you who watch us enough should know, like, the CBA better, hopefully. We try and, like, that's the thing. When we cover trade stuff like this, we try and, like, educate you guys on like, the CBA. Because, like, I've studied it. Eric studied it. Like, we're nerds like that. But we try and keep you guys, we try and, like, you know, help you guys learn about that type of stuff. That's the goal, at least. You know, hopefully we have. If we haven't, then we failed. All right,
I'll be right back.
Take care of some kids or something. Yeah. So, I mean, I got Twitter open right now. I'm just waiting to see what happens with this trade. I'm making a. Oh, he's cooking some hot pockets or something. I'm just waiting to see what happens with who's getting sent out, that type of stuff. I'm just finishing up a thumbnail for this. What are you making? What are you making?
My wife asked me to turn the oven on, so
I said you were making hot pockets.
she's gonna be home soon. Oh no.
Actually, a hot pocket sounds good right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we're having burgers.
Jealous, no. Because now I'm hungry, man. Now I'm hungry. I need to go get some food after this.
This is the part that sucks about having to do this in my dining room. Is she's gonna come home?
Why the hell are you still streaming?
Yeah, exactly.
So you say trade deadline.
Tomorrow, though, I gotta cover. My mother-in-law said she'd watch my little one while the other two are in school, so I'll be free of concern of having to worry about that stuff.
All right, there we go. This thumbnail should be done. Trade alert thumbnail. Boom.
R.I.P. Blazers, please stop.
Is he still talking about that trade? Is it
like he just changed the picks a little bit, but it's like we talked about that with the Pacers. It was basically the same trade, but Ariza for Oubre doesn't work, I think, without adding anything else either. But, like, yeah. If you want to mention a different trade or come up with something different, that's great. But let's not talk about those. Bobby Portis and Elfrid Payton, if they're in your trade suggestion, let's just move on to something else.
Bro, both those guys suck, too, man. Bobby Portis sucks, all right? Not efficient, doesn't get to the free throw line, like... True shooting percentage of 50, doesn't play defense, he's a head case. I do not want that guy on my team ever. Ever. If we trade for Bobby Portis, I'm going to throw up at the screen. Like, you guys don't want to see that, okay? So, quit making me feel nauseous by talking about us acquiring Bobby Portis.
The only way I'd want Bobby Portis is if Phoenix wanted Bobby Portis for Oubre, and they were that dumb to do that.
Yeah, I mean... But we wouldn't be getting Bobby Portis, you know. Maybe we could turn it into something golden, but I don't like that. I do not like that. All right, there we go. I got the thumbnail updated. I did not want that over your face. I did not want that over the whole screen. All right, so bro, they're being so slow to break this. I'm getting slightly annoyed. You're about to get yelled at.
Yeah.
That's where you text her before and say, we got 170 people. So, yeah, well, right after we get this news, we'll break down the trade of, like, once we get the final trade. I mean, if you have to go, you have to go. You guys can also follow me on Twitter. Like, if it takes more than an hour, I'm not going to stream for, like, any more than, like, 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So if it's, like, past that, and I'm not live, I'll tweet about it. And I might be live later tonight if something else goes down. So just stay tuned right here. But follow me on Twitter. You know, I'm active on Twitter. I know the NBA. Follow Eric on Twitter. He's the same way. That rhymed. I didn't even mean for that to rhyme. But anyway, I'm literally staring at my phone right now, waiting for the Twitter notification to pop up because I got all the notifications on and everything. But
yeah, Trev, and if other trades happen, we'll definitely talk about them.
Let's go, phone. Oh man.
This well, I guess Crowder kind of hurts a little bit because he actually has played. I know he's been hurt a little bit, but Memphis was in one of those weird positions where they could trade someone like Iguodala who has value, but it doesn't affect how they're playing because he hasn't been on their team all year. So, yeah, like I don't know how that'll impact the race for the 8th seed. And then Woj just said more players coming to Memphis.
Yeah, I mean that's not a surprise at all.
Yeah.
Wish he had more for us.
Oh, OJ Mailite asked a question that applies to something that happened to me last night. Would you go get food if you were just pulled over earlier for expired tags, or should I just order in?
Did you get a ticket or did you get a warning?
I got a warning.
So
I think it's still within like the month grace period or whatever, but OJ Mailite got a ticket. Dang, that sucks.
That sucks, yeah. Absolutely tragic.
I need to go fix that. Yeah.
I know a lot of people with expired tags right now. Everybody's slacking on their tags. Get your tags, kids. Sounds like your child is mad at you for not getting tags.
Yeah. No, she's saying my other daughter's name, not my name. But I
go break it up. Yep.
Hold on just a second.
Bro, I'm looking at my phone, guys. I don't know. I guess I'll chill with you. We can shoot the breeze. But I'm just waiting for the details on this trade. How do you like the trade when you don't even know who Miami got? We know Miami got Gallinari and Iguodala. What do you mean we don't know who Miami got? We don't know who we traded, so we can't say for sure. So just but based off what we know, we can kind of judge the trade. For Miami's end, the other team's end, we don't know because we don't know what they're getting back yet. They traded Winslow, which I don't think is a shock. I knew that was the number one guy. I think they'll be trading Hero unless they get creative with their protections on future picks and that type of stuff. No way they traded Hero. Gotta be none. I mean, maybe OKC wants none, but OKC has a ton of point guards. They got 3 point guards. You know what I mean? Nunn's a combo guard, shooting guard, but they got 3 guards entrenched there. I don't know. I don't think OKC would really want none. I don't even think Memphis would really want none because Memphis has Melton, who's actually killed it, been super underrated this year. If you guys haven't been paying attention to him, then start paying attention to D'Anthony Melton because he's having one of the most under the radar, bit of a breakout second season. Not a huge breakout season, but efficient, getting you 8-9 points per game off the bench, can play defense, can distribute, all around player. I really like D'Anthony Melton. I don't know. I just don't feel like Kendrick Nunn has a ton of value. The problem with Miami, okay, this is for all the Miami fans that say no way they're trading Nunn. The problem for Miami is how are they giving enough up in order to go and get these guys? Because they can't trade a first round pick unless they. How do I explain this? How do I explain this? They owe their 2023 first round pick to OKC. They don't have their 2021 first round pick. And you can't trade picks in back-to-back years, so they can't trade their 2020 first because they've already traded their 2021 first. So therefore, they can't trade a pick until 2025. But the problem is with their 2023 pick is it's protected through 2026. So they basically don't No, if they have their 2025 pick, because their 2023 pick is protected, if it's in a certain range, then they'd end up trading their 2024 pick. And if they end up trading their 2024 pick, they can't trade their 2025 pick. So that's the thing. Since it's protected through 2026, they can't trade that pick. But their 2023 first-round pick is owed to OKC. So Miami could get creative and take the protections off that pick and make it unprotected, which is risky, but make it unprotected. That might be enough. That might be enough for OKC to trade them Gallo. Getting that pick unprotected, that's a lottery ticket. If Miami's in the lottery, OKC could get the first overall pick. And then the thing is, if Miami took the protections off that 2023 first-round pick, then they could trade their 2025 first-round pick or their 2026 first-round pick to Memphis for Iguodala. So maybe they could get creative with that. But if they don't take the protections off that OKC pick, then they can't trade a single first-round pick. So if they don't do that, they got to give up something of value, and it's going to be some of their young talent. I don't think Justice Winslow has a ton of value. Maybe he gets it done for Memphis, but what is OKC getting? I don't think Kendrick Nunn is that valued by OKC. So I think maybe Duncan Robinson is enough, but he's not super young either. It's his second year, but he was an old college player. I think spent 5 years at Michigan. So you're looking at Tyler Hero, or maybe OKC settles. But it would be I think it would be a mistake for OKC to settle for anything less than Tyler Hero. So that's why I think it is Tyler Hero. I mean, we just have to wait and see. Miami's going to have to give up something. They're not just going to get these players for garbage like Dion Waiters, James Johnson. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. Jones Jr. is young, so maybe that could be a part of the trade. I had been overlooking him.
There's a lot of pieces, though. It's hard. Am I off muted?
I never muted you. Just mute yourself if you leave.
Yeah. Let me on, dude, is I don't know if you mentioned this while I was gone, but he said pick swaps could be in play too.
Yeah, but they're not going to be valuable until like 2024, and I feel like that's not going to be enough. I feel like one pick swap's not going to be enough. And the thing is, 2024, 2025, 2026, you trade a pick swap, those teams might not even get that swap since Miami's first-round pick is protected from 2023 through 2026.
Yeah.
So maybe it'd be a 2020 pick swap doesn't make sense because Miami is better than both those teams, so it has no value to OKC or Memphis. A 2022 pick swap might make sense, but I don't know. That's like really the only pick they can swap.
I just wish there'd be more details. Shams and Woj are letting us down, man.
They got everybody waiting. They're probably enjoying it. Imagine just everybody waiting.
R.I.P. Blazers. We don't know if Hero is part of the trade yet, so you're just getting all upset for nothing. And his name is Simons, not Simmons.
What's he getting upset about?
That we won't trade Simons, but they'll trade Hero.
Man?
Hero has way more value than Simons right now.
Why would you want to give up Simons for a possible rental for Danilo Gallinari, who doesn't solve our defensive issues at all when we're a bottom 10 defense? A bottom 10 defense is not going to contend. It's not going to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. So we're looking at a first-round exit and possible rental of a guy like Danilo Gallinari, and we're going to trade Simons for him? Why would we do that? And then, because, we're looking at the 8th seed, so we're probably not making it out of the first round. We're playing an LA team. So if Olshey did that, and the most likely scenario happened where either we'd have to overpay Gallinari as he ages and declines, or he would walk after us losing in the first round, people would crucify Olshey for that. So don't sit here getting mad at Neil Olshey, man. Don't, especially because we don't even know if OKC would want that, because Tyler Hero has a lot more value. So we'd probably have to give up more than just Simons, which wouldn't make sense for us. I don't. The thing is, man. Like, not trying to be mean. It's just people jump on Neil Olshey, and I've kind of done this in the past, but it's more like he just needs to make something happen. I'm gonna be mad if he doesn't make something happen. But don't look at individual deals like this and just immediately freak out You know what I mean? You have to think through it logically, not emotionally. Hero has more value. Why would we want a rental like Gallinari? You know what I mean? Like, if we get mad, that's when you know you should get mad too.
And Simons is another one of those where his potential does not match his trade value. So you're basically trading still a lottery ticket. I know a lot of people have given up on him, whatever, but like you're still trading someone who could pop for not much in return for that investment. So like I'd rather just keep him and hope he pops, and if he doesn't pan out, fine, versus what he would actually bring back in a trade, which would not be that much. He is more like a throw-in at a trade at this point, you know?
Yeah, Nathaniel Hall says, somebody give me one reason OKC would trade Gallinari right now during a playoff run when they can wait till offseason on an expiring contract. Some of y'all living off pipe dreams. What do you mean wait till the offseason? They can't trade him this offseason because he's a free agent. So they either have to trade him now or they won't get anything for him.
And we're not living off pipe dreams. We are reporting what's being reported by Woj. And if you want to say Woj is living off a pipe dream, then I guess.
That. So the Heat fans out there, what do you guys think you're giving up for Gallinari and Iguodala? I'm curious because they're saying we're not trading Hero, we're not trading none, we're not trading a first round pick. So what are you giving up? You're not giving up enough then. Derrick Jones Jr. and Dion is going to take a lot more than Derrick Jones Jr. It's going to take a lot more than that.
And once again, with bringing in Gallinari and who's the other? Iguodala, you have to come up with that's almost $40 million in salary. So you have to come up with almost $38 million for it to even work from Miami's perspective. So you're talking about guys who have negative value like James Johnson and Dion Waiters in a trade because they have a year left. Like OKC and Memphis doesn't want to have them on their books next year. So you have to incentivize them for taking those guys. But that's the only way you can get up enough salary to make that. So you have to include something. And best case scenario for you guys would be like what Tori has been suggesting. You take the protections off the OKC pick in 2023, and then that allows you to give Memphis a 2025 pick, and you're fine. You get to keep all your young players, but that's like best case scenario. And I don't know if that's enough for OKC to trade Gallinari just to remove the protection.
Is like the most realistic one here because you said Derrick Jones Jr. and maybe Duncan Robinson, and at least take that. But I feel like it might take a little bit more than that to get both those guys in terms of young prospects. But I mean, like that's more realistic than some of the other stuff.
And for people saying like maybe they're waiting to announce the trade till after the game, they cannot play players in a game if they've agreed to a trade. That's like a big no-no because if one of them gets hurt, that completely messes up
their teams involved. It messes up everything for everybody involved.
That is, what time is that game? Is it 7 or 7:30?
Apex Fortified 23. That's not enough for both those guys, man. You're not going to get. You have to trade out more salary, but and it's not a simple trade, DJ Crossover, man, because you guys can't trade a pick. So it's these 3-team trades aren't simple, especially with a team butting up against the hard cap that can't trade a future first-round pick that's getting Gallinari and Iguodala. That's not simple. Like, I'm speaking from an unbiased perspective. You guys are speaking from a biased perspective. I'm speaking from an unbiased perspective, outside looking in. I mean, we'll see. I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm unbiased. I know the cap. I know how teams value players. So I'm just telling you that's like these are the options that Miami has in this trade.
This was from Tuesday, but Hero was already not playing tonight, so that won't give us anything. Leonard was already not playing tonight. Winslow was out. He wasn't with the team on this 5-game trip, nor was Myers.
I'm changing it to the Clippers, bro.
So
because I still got time.
So Myers, Justice Winslow, and Tyler Hero were all out of this game already. But it was past the time where they would have had to announce they're inactive, so it had to have been more than that.
I'm changing my pick, by the way. So if you want to like scratch mine off and write that down, because that game hasn't started yet, you can't blame me for
Whatever.
that, bro. You can't blame me for that.
That's weak.
You would do the same thing. You know it too.
Young Assassin, we welcome all fans of all teams. We talk about the NBA in general. It's not just one. He said we were shocked there was a Heat fan there, but
No, I that's the thing is I titled this and had the thumbnail knowing that I'd attract fans of teams involved in this trade. I love talking trades. Knowing the CBA as well as we do, it makes it more fun to talk about trades since we understand kind of the intricacies, and I try and like present them in a way that's entertaining but also easy for you guys to understand. And we'll see what this package is, and we'll break it down. It's I just want to know, man. You should be knowledgeable of how trade works. LOL. Yeah. I don't.
yeah, try telling that to all the media. Or like Chris Bouchard the other day. Chris Broussard saying that Minnesota was going to trade Jeff Teague for D'Angelo Russell, and he's not even
he said
on
Jeff
their
Teague
team.
and who? It was somebody else too. And it was like trading out like $30 million for three. It's like, how does that match, bro? That's not even like just common sense. That's not even like the detailed like intricacies that could work into play. That's not trade exceptions. That's not, fine. I don't know. That's not like their trades can be more complicated than that. He messed up in terms of just simply understanding who's on the damn team, who's on the damn Timberwolves, because Teague isn't. And then he also messed up by apparently not understanding that you have to match salary in a trade, which if you're in somebody in his position, I don't understand how you don't know that. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So a lot of media messes up with that type of stuff.
Alexander Zephyr says Riley and Spo are not giving up Jones Jr. or Robinson, both vital pieces to the current rotation. Why trade winning pieces? Okay, that's fine. I just don't know how you expect to get Iguodala and Gallinari, both players who the teams have been adamant all season that they will accept nothing less than a first-round pick for. OKC's not going to give Gallinari away in the middle of a playoff chase for nothing and taking on salary next year. So, like, something's got to give here. We're not saying it has to be those guys. We're just wondering who it is if it's not those guys,
The thing is, Heat fans, like I see Heat fans saying they're not going to trade Duncan Robinson or Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Hero or Derrick Jones Jr. or a first-round pick because they can't. It's like they're going to have to trade some combination of that. The only way they're not trading at least one of Derrick Jones Jr., Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, or Tyler Hero is if they get creative with their pick protections in that 2023 first that they already OKC becomes unprotected, and then they trade a 2025 or 2026 first-round pick to Memphis. That's the only way they're getting by without trading one of those four prospects between Derrick Jones, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and
so someone says we don't want Gallinari if we have to trade our young players. Well, okay, but that's beside. Like, we're not saying you're going to get Gallinari. It's Adrian Wojnarowski, the most respected guy in the NBA, and Shams is right there with him, and they're both saying you guys are getting Gallinari. So we're not making this up and forcing Gallinari on the Miami Heat and saying no, you have to give up something. So I don't know what that is. Oh my God, man. And then we have someone you're gonna like this, Tori. DJ Crossover, what's up, man? What do we need schooled on? Please let us know.
Educate us.
He said he wishes he can call both of you so I can school you. I'm assuming he's meaning us. What would you like to school us on? What are we saying that's wrong?
Yeah,
or what?
Explain. It's just gonna be, their prospects are untouchable. Blazer fans, I hope you're entertained. Heat fans, I also hope Heat fans are entertained, and fans of anybody really. But this is fun. I really need to drink some goddamn water,
So,
man. Can you please take a seat? Blazers Uprise speaks facts. Destrom, you know it. We got a war in here that I can't even control. I ain't even gonna try and control.
Heat fans are overloading. But what's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning
Hey,
in.
don't be too mean to the Heat fans. Just the ones that are mean to us. We invite all Heat fans. All respectful Heat fans. You guys are good. Let's not start war. I'm a Heat fan, Jonathan Anderson. What's up, man?
Aiden says Hero's untouchable. Yeah, it's fine. We're just trying to figure out what you're giving up.
Because you gotta give up something. I mean, you guys are getting back two highly sought after pieces. You know, it's not like you guys are getting back mediocre role players. You're getting back Andre Iguodala, Danilo Gallinari. So I appreciate it.
Okay,
Oscar.
DJ Crossover says, this is what happens when Blazer fans make a live stream and talk about other teams. I feel like anyone can make a sports live stream and talk nonsense. What are we saying that's nonsense?
He's just going to troll. He's just going to troll because he doesn't know us and he thinks all his players are untouchable.
Yeah.
And he thinks that he can get Danilo Gallinari and Andre Iguodala for like Deion Waiters, James Johnson, and a second-round pick or something like that. Yeah,
and Myers Leonard. Get real, man. Like, I'm sorry, but we've been as real as anyone could possibly be on this. Like, we're not saying it's for sure any of those guys. We're just wondering what you're giving up.
It has to be something. That's literally all I'm saying. And this dude's freaking out because we said I think it has to be Tyler Hero if they don't get creative with their pick protections. I'm not saying it has to because they can get creative with their pick protections, but if they don't, I think Tyler Hero has to be in it. And I might be wrong. And it might be one of their other prospects. I've just seen Heat fans say, oh, they're not going to trade Derrick Jones Jr., Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, or Tyler Hero. And then but I don't see them saying, oh, I think they'll get creative with their pick protections because it has to be one or the other.
He's saying, not trolling. I've been saying Gallo and Iggy are old. Why would they give up young guys? And no, I'm calm. You have to, just because they're old doesn't mean they're not worth something in a trade. They're not worthless throw-ins in a trade that you're going to get for Deion Waiters, who has one of the most negative value contracts in the league.
Yeah, he's not
like you're not going to get value for it. They're possibly trading to shed salary. Okay, DJ Crossover. Answer me this question: who's trying to trade to shed salary? Are you talking about Miami's trying to trade salary, or trying to shed salary, or Memphis is trying to shed salary, or OKC is trying to shed salary? Just let me know which team. Which team? I got this.
I'll let you go. Go off.
Yeah.
Let's wait.
I just want to see what team he thinks is shedding salary, or what team would benefit by shedding salary.
All
three, bro. Okay, we're talking nonsense. How do three teams all save salary in a trade? How is that even possible? How do all three teams come out with?
You said all three.
That's not even possible, man. Yet you're like, get out of here, man. Like,
he has to be trolling, dude. What? How do all three teams trade amongst each other and they all shed salary? That doesn't mathematically work, bro.
Sorry, man. That was the dumbest answer.
I hope he was trolling. Oh my god. What the hell? What in the world, bro?
Yeah, don't come in here and call us out for talking nonsense or not knowing our stuff. We know our crap, man. We're not just two people here like.
Oh, I can't get over that.
Yeah, he's trying to claim now he's trolling, but now he's.
Oh my goodness, bro!
Completely.
Oh my god. Oh.
I would put Torrey and my knowledge about the NBA and the salary cap up against any person that talks about the NBA.
But
just because we're Blazer fans
doesn't mean we put in our work. You know what I mean? To really know what we're talking about. That's the truth.
But thanks for watching. I'm glad we taught you something. Now he knows that you can't have a trade between three teams.
Chrissy says we're trading Jones, Nunn, Winslow, and Duncan. That's all it is. No, you have to trade out a lot more salary than that. you have to trade out like $38 million in salary. So Jones, Nunn, Winslow, and that's a fact, okay? That's not speculation. That's a fact. Like, that's a CBA fact. You can't make this trade work. You guys are hard capped because you made a sign and trade for Jimmy Butler, so that instituted a hard cap at like $138 million. Your payroll's at around $136 million, so you can only take back $2 more million than what you're sending out. You're taking back like $40 million. Danilo Gallinari is making $22.6 million. Andre Iguodala is making a little bit over $17 million. That adds up to about $40 million you're bringing back, since you can only take back $2 million more, or you can only send out $2 million less than $40 million. You have to send out $38 million. It's a math thing. Sorry if I butchered that explanation a little bit, but you have to send out $38 million. So it's not going to be. Derrick Jones Jr. is on a minimum contract. Kendrick Nunn's on a minimum contract. Duncan Robinson is on a minimum contract. Winslow's $13 million a year. So that only adds up to like $18 million a year. So you're $20 million a year short. So like, even if you added Dragic to that, I don't think that'd work. And Dragic's making $19 million.
Trevin says that Gallinari's back on the floor warming up for the second half. Is that true?
What? Trevin, don't be trolling, man. If you're trolling, Trevin, I'm gonna be upset.
So, DeMario, it's both Woj and Shams are reporting that Gallinari and Iguodala are headed to Miami. So we're just we know that Winslow is apparently going to Memphis, and that Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder are possibly going to OKC, but we don't know why OKC would do that without some sort of incentive to do so, and we don't know what other players are involved to make Memphis want to do that, unless they, for some reason, think that Winslow is like the greatest prospect ever.
I want to go to a Miami Heat forum and see if like anybody's talking in the forum like they know before. I don't know, like maybe they know somebody to the team and are breaking it to a forum or something. I'm gonna go to Real GM. I don't know. Do you think I could possibly find something out like that, Eric? Or I know you're on forums a lot more than I am, like other forums.
It'd mostly be people guessing. Like,
I'm curious to see what Miami Heat fans on Real GM's forum are guessing, though. Do
you want to give a shout out to Kyle Wilson?
Donation. Shout out to Kyle Wilson for the $5 donation. Let me read the message. He says, "Love you guys. If all we do is cut luxury tax money and keep Whiteside just to watch him leave this offseason, Neil Olshey should be fired immediately." Yeah, I'll be pissed if that happens. Unless we go. I mean, like, if we went and won the NBA, if we won an NBA championship by keeping Whiteside and then he left, I'd be fine. But let's be honest, that's not that's not exactly likely. So yeah, I'll be upset if we keep Whiteside. I think we definitely gotta send him out. Yeah, I'm gonna look at this Heat forum on my phone. See what they're saying. I'm just curious, man. I need this, dude. You guys better follow us on Twitter, because we will react to this. And we will respond. We will have something for you Heat fans. You know what I mean? We'll say either "told you so" or "wow, you guys got lucky as hell."
To all the Heat fans, no, the Whiteside trade has gone about as good as we could have expected Whiteside to be. He's not necessarily the reason why we're losing this year. I think it's far from it. We had a lot of other injuries that contributed to that as well, along with some other stuff that happened. But Whiteside was always meant to be a temporary stopgap until Nurk was ready to play. He's not quite ready yet, so we're kind of in this weird period where Whiteside's playing so well that people don't want to trade him, but his value long-term, trading him now, is too much to ignore. So even though it might temporarily hurt the Blazers' chances of making the 8th seed, unless we land a quality replacement, that it's still worth it long term to trade him. But that has nothing to do with Whiteside's
we don't want
overall
to trade. Yeah, we don't want to trade
value.
him because he's playing bad. It's not based on how he's playing. It's just the situation our roster is in.
And no, he has not been a locker room cancer at all. In fact, it's been the opposite of that. He has not been a problem one bit. There are moments where he seems like he's a little out of games and not completely focused, but it hasn't really happened a whole lot this season. I think he's been pretty good.
Yep. Funny how we got a donation talking about Whiteside. I forgot Heat fans. Yeah, they're had Whiteside and were trashing him, and he's been solid.
Thomas Serrano said, Gallo and Iggy are bench players. Why would we trade you a starter? Okay.
Trade us a starter?
I don't know.
They're not bench. Iguodala maybe, but not Gallinari. Gallinari's getting like 20 points per game. How's he a bench player? He's starting for a playoff team in the West that's like 10 games over 500, and he's averaging 20 a game. I don't know. Gallinari's a good player. Gallinari's a good fit with Miami too because they have a good defense. They have good defensive players around him. He fits their MO, which is to spread the court, surround Jimmy Butler with shooters, let him be the primary facilitator, the playmaker. If they keep Leonard and Olynyk, you got 3 really, really, really good shooters in the front court there, along with Bam. I mean, maybe you go big and play Gallinari at some 3 a little bit if you had because that's a bit of a logjam. Because Bam needs to be getting 30 minutes or more a game, just because he's legit good. But I mean, other than Bam, you got 3 legit shooters in that front court. You got. Maybe they keep Duncan Robinson, another legit shooter there. Maybe they keep Hero, another legit shooter there. They just got a lot of legit shooting. That's why I think Gallinari is a good fit for them. I think that is a good pickup depending on what they gave up. Iguodala is a weird fit, though, in my opinion, just because he's not a good shooter. He kind of hurts that. He doesn't really fit the identity, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Heat fans will say I'm wrong, but he doesn't fit your guys' identity, which is, as I said, to spread the court, surround Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo with shooters, because Bam, I've noticed his playmaking has been much better this year than last year. He's become a playmaking center. So having a bunch of shooters around those guys creates them space, gives them options to attack or make plays for others. Iguodala doesn't space the floor though, and he's kind of washed in my opinion. So I don't think the Heat should have went after him, but oh well.
So there's a lot of speculation now that maybe the Gallo part of it fell through.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why they're not. Maybe it's because they wouldn't trade Tyler Hero, man.
But they kind of need if there's a pick involved for Memphis, then they kind of need to trade something to OKC to get them to take off the protection.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of that other pick, but
anyway, leave a like on this video, by the way. Helps us out. We got almost 200 people in here. We got 18 likes, so help us out. Hit that like button and subscribe if you want more trade deadline action. We're pretty much a Blazers channel. We go live after every Blazers game, but we do have Monday, Wednesday, Friday podcasts where we talk about some Blazers and some just general NBA stuff. We pick each game that night. It goes live around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, so right before games start up on the East Coast. So we do cover the general NBA in this offseason. We'll cover the general NBA a lot more. We'll cover the draft. We'll have some draft prospect stuff. We'll cover free agency. We'll do live streams during free agency, that type of stuff. So, and we'll have some stuff in the future for you guys as well. That'll be interesting for you Heat fans. So.
Rude Boy says Winslow to Memphis with a first-round pick. Good job, young Grizzlies. That's not possible to do for
unless they take the protections off their 2023 pick to OKC. That's the only way.
But yeah, he's just saying that part of it. If it was just that trade, if it was just Memphis and Miami making the trade without the Gallinari, Yeah,
Um,
can't happen. That's not enough money going back to Memphis to get Miami
I
under
have
the
a
hard
feeling.
cap. So
I have a feeling that Gallo part might have fell through. Is Gallo actually playing right now?
that's
If
what
Gallo's
someone was
playing right
saying.
now,
But
then that's kind of weird. Let me go to NBA scores. OKC game. What the hell, man?
they're saying, yeah, he is playing.
Why is he? What the hell? Why is he playing if he's being traded? So he's not getting traded. So they're not getting Gallinari.
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Cause wasn't it real?
Yeah, someone said that he left the bench or something earlier, but then he came out for the second half, so maybe it fell
What?
apart.
Oh, bro. Maybe Pat Riley was being like those Heat fans saying all our young players are untouchable. I don't care that we can't trade a pick. I don't know. I don't know, man. I wish Woj would say something. Because who was it that tweeted it out? Was it Shams? I thought maybe I misread the tweet or something. Oh, it was the fact that he came off the bench was why it seemed like it was happening, and there was reports of the OKC getting traded. I don't know. So they might.
Well, Woj reported that Riley was working on to trade for Memphis Andre Iguodala and in
Mm-hmm.
uppercase letters Danilo Gallinari, and then he retweeted that other thing that said that Hill and um, Crowder were late scratches.
And being sent up.
Um, Someone else reported, I don't know who that was, but someone else reported that they were going to OKC. Um,
So I'm
the,
assuming that fell
Keith,
through.
Keith Smith just said, got to be something going on with this Memphis Miami trade because we normally know the details by now. Miami has to send out more than just Winslow to stay under the hard cap. Exactly what I said. That's what we've been saying this whole stream. And that doesn't work under the salary cap. And um, this is like a national writer saying
We
this.
just gotta
So
get big like that so we can say that 30 minutes before they would actually say it. Um, yeah, man, I don't understand this.
and And to those who are saying like Nunn and Hero are untouchable, fine. Like we've already said, best case scenario for Heat fans right now would be to unprotect the 2023 pick and have that be enough for OKC to do this deal and to give up
Mm-hmm.
then a 2025 pick to Memphis in the deal. Um, but yeah, other than that, it doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense for the other two teams to want to
Well,
do that.
so somebody asked me a question that I actually answered in my mailbag. I recorded a mailbag last night. I just didn't have a time to edit it. I wanted to get like 5 hours of sleep, So I'm I was planning on only doing the podcast till like 4:30, 4:45, and then going and editing that and like basically be uploading that by this time. But we had all this stuff go down, so we've been live. So I'm gonna wrap up this stream. I've never wrapped up a stream with this many people watching, other than that Mellow stream, but I had to. I had a rec league game. So,
Yeah.
but stay tuned with us on Twitter at Blazers Uprise if you want to know when we're going live with our trade deadline stream. I'll tweet all that stuff out. Might be live later tonight if more stuff happens with this Miami trade and we can cover it. So if you guys,
Or any other trades.
Miami Heat fans, I want to see you back in here, depending on what happens. This banter, this interaction is fun. So, but yeah, follow me on Twitter at ToryJonesYT. Follow HoopsJock at HoopsJock. So you can stay up to date with what we're doing and what we think about these trades, and so you can stay up to date when we go live.
And we'll definitely be back
Yep,
tomorrow morning.
we got you guys. I'm gonna pull an all-nighter tonight and stay up until past the trade. Then I'm gonna take a nap. Then I'm gonna wake up for the Blazers game. That's the plan for me. So I'll be working on like maybe some graphic stuff for that stream tonight. Yeah. So anyway, we'll catch you guys later. hope you guys enjoyed this stream, this extra long podcast, all this trade banter. We'll see what happens, man. I'll react on Twitter to whatever goes down. I'm assuming something's going to come out in the next hour that will clear this up, and I'll react to that, and then might be live later tonight. So until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.